The music was too loud for the room, which made everything feel permitted. Words slipped out and fell into laughter, into clinking glasses, into the kind of noise that pretends it didn't hear anything sharp. She stood near the folding table, where someone had arranged food with care that would not be acknowledged. Paper plates, a cake already cut crooked. When her mother said it, "We wish you were never born," it didn't arrive like a slap. It landed flat, almost bored. The way people say things they have rehearsed privately, and finally decided to release. For a few seconds, nothing in the room changed. The music didn't stutter. Someone laughed too hard at a joke that had already passed. A cousin lifted a phone to record something else entirely. The sentence sat there, unclaimed, as if it belonged to no one. She felt a small, precise sensation behind her eyes, like a click. Alignment. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't ask for clarification. She didn't search the faces around her to see who had heard. She straightened because posture was the only thing she could control without asking permission. "Then I'll disappear," she said. It wasn't dramatic. It was factual, the way you announce a schedule change. She picked up her coat from the back of the chair. Someone reached for her arm and missed. The door was closer than anyone expected. Outside, the air was cold and smelled like wet pavement. The parking lot lights hummed. She stood there for a moment, breathing in a way that surprised her, deep even. The party noise dulled behind the door. She didn't cry. She didn't feel brave. She felt finished. She walked, not toward home and not away from it either. Just far enough to sit on a low concrete wall across the street. Her phone buzzed once, then again. She turned it face down. The night had a way of making even ordinary buildings look temporary. Inside the hall, the absence took longer to register than the insult had. Conversations restarted on momentum alone. Plates were cleared. Someone turned the music up another notch, as if volume could seal the space where a person had been. It was a child who noticed first. Where did she go? The question moved through the room without finding a place to land. Her mother waved a hand, dismissive. But her eyes didn't quite follow it. 10 minutes passed. Then 15. The cake sat half-eaten, frosting drying at the edges. Someone checked a watch and frowned. The venue manager appeared at the edge of the room, clipboard tucked against his chest. He waited until the song ended, which took longer than it should have. "Excuse me," he said, voice practiced neutral. "I need to speak with the primary contact." Silence has texture when it arrives suddenly. Chairs scraped. People looked at one another, then at her mother, who stiffened. She stepped out. Her mother said, "I'm her mother." The manager smiled without warmth. "I'm sorry. The contract lists her as the responsible party for tonight. We need her signature for the time extension you requested. And for the alcohol service." A murmur spread. Glasses were set down. The music stayed off. "We already paid," someone said, the manager said. "For the original time. And per policy, I can't extend or continue service without the named contact present. Also," he tapped the clipboard, "we've had a noise complaint. We'll need to address that." Phones came out then, not to record but to retrieve. Messages stacked. Calls went unanswered, outside, on the concrete wall. She felt the buzz through her coat pocket like an insect. She didn't move. The words replayed in her mind, not loudly, but with an odd clarity. "We wish you were never born." She tested how it sounded without the room, without witnesses. It was smaller there. Still sharp, but contained. At 20 minutes, a cousin found her across the street. Breathless, hair escaping its pins. "They're looking for you," she said, as if this were new information. She nodded. "I know. Things are getting complicated." She considered that. Complicated was the word people used when consequences arrived without invitation. "Sitting," she said. "I'll walk when I'm ready." The cousin hovered. Then retreated, discomfort written plainly across her face. Inside, the manager explained the options. End the event on schedule. Cut the music. Stop serving alcohol. Or wait for the contact. The authority was not angry. It didn't need to be. It was simply there, immovable, printed in ink. Panic doesn't always look like shouting. Sometimes it looks like bargaining with no leverage. Her mother's voice rose, then softened. Apologies were offered in the abstract, to no one in particular. The sentence that had started it all was not mentioned. At 30 minutes, the manager began closing procedures. Lights brightened. The room looked different under them. Less forgiving. She stood up when the cold finally reached her bones. She crossed the street at a normal pace. Through the glass doors, she could see the room rearranging itself around the truth of her absence. When she entered, conversation stopped again, more deliberately this time. Her mother turned, eyes wide, mouth already forming something that might have been an apology if it had found the right shape. "I'm here," she said, not loudly. She addressed the manager. "What do you need?" He explained. She listened. She signed where indicated. She declined the extension. The music stayed off. The alcohol service ended. The party contracted into something manageable. Something closer to what it should have been all along. No one cheered. No one accused her. Relief moved through the room like a draft. Later, when coats were gathered and goodbyes said too quickly, her mother stood near the door. Hands folded as if holding something fragile. "I didn't mean it like that," she said. She looked at her, really looked. The sentence had taken up residence between them, whether acknowledged or not. "I know," she said, and she did. Meaning was not the point. Impact was. She left without hugging anyone. Outside, the night was quieter. The building behind her returned to its ordinary shape. Walking away, she felt no triumph. Just a steady sense of recalibration, like a scale finally balanced. Presence. She understood now, had weight. Withdrawal did too. The knowledge settled in without ceremony, and she carried it with her into the dark, unsure what would change next, but certain of what would not.